Yo, what is up everybody? Ceresco back again, this time with some short Christmas horror stories for you guys, written by Ollie Morg 16. Remember to use the links in the description below, show love to them, like, comment, and subscribe. Story 1, The Mall That Ended It All. For this story, let's travel to Michigan, USA, where we will meet our main characters in this story, and we will find out the details of their journey that began on December 20th, 2015. The day was cool, snow falling, covering everything like a pen over paper. It was all white, no color, a monochrome of man-raised images. Chris and Jamie have been up for an hour, waiting for the time to go head off straight to the closest mall for a late Christmas shop. With Jamie, she loves Christmas, and every year when the year turns to December the 1st, the decorations and music all pop out and begin the countdown to the 25th of December. While Chris does like Christmas, but not as much or excited compared to Jamie, he loves Jamie's emotions and feelings about Christmas. He's beginning to love Christmas almost as much as her. The mall that they want to go to opens at 10 a.m. and it's called Briarwood Mall. As it is the best and the biggest they could shop at, plus it is the closest towards them. The time is 9:45. Hey, let's head off now, as we could be the first ones in the front line. Chris and Jamie headed off to the adventure to the mall. After many minutes, nearly hours in the mall, Jamie noticed a line leading to something. So she led Chris with her to see what the line was leading to. Jamie, like a child literally on Christmas, was so excited. It was a man dressed up as Santa. Oh, Chris, I need to have a photo with him. Okay, but I think it's a little bit creepy that a man is dressed up as Santa. They were only a couple spots away from Jamie's photo with Santa, when Chris noticed that the Santa guy was fully constrained on something. So Chris followed where his eyes were leading to. The guy was looking at his girlfriend, Jamie. I knew because I moved places with her, and his eyes glided across his face as a cheetah hunting his prey. I even moved in front of her. When we locked eyes, his face turned from almost pleasurable face to pure rage and anger. Chris blinked uncontrollably, but the Santa never did. Only made full eye contact. Hey Chris, move out of the way. Santa's waiting for me, Jamie said, as Chris didn't notice that all that time the people in front had their turns already. Jamie walked very swiftly to the Santa guy. His face glowed each step she took towards him. Santa's smile widened, showing gross and greenish teeth that is almost supernatural-like. Chris, come on, take photos of me and Santa. So, each photo, Jamie looked straight at the camera, posing so lovely and beautiful. But Santa noticed, and Chris noticed, that Santa was never looking at the camera, but only at her. His nose moved up and down, producing a sniffing noise that somehow Jamie didn't notice at all. Alright, I think that's enough photos with Santa, Jamie. Don't you think? No, leave baby Jamie, Santa said. Pardon? How dare you call my girlfriend like that? Who do you think you are? You don't call people baby girl, especially when you aren't dating them. Like, plus, man, you work with kids, dude. I'm so sorry, mister. It's just, Jamie is so perfect and beautiful. She will be mine. Get away from her. I said get away from her now. Too late. She's already mine. Tonight at 11 p.m. She won't be yours anymore, Chris. Say goodbye. No, get away from her. Chris grabbed Jamie by her hand, pulled her away from Santa, and Jamie reacted saying, Chris, what the hell are you doing? You didn't take the last photo. What's wrong with you? Look, the Santa just told me everything about taking you away from me. What are you talking about? The Santa guy was just telling you that you were lucky to have me. And that's when you just stood looking at him, almost having a daydream. Chris was reviewing everything that just happened. By then, the next person was having photos with the Santa guy. But still, he was watching Jamie, not even the kid having the photo with him. See you later, you good girl. Alright, that's it. You better shut the fuck up right now before I hit that fake beard off your round head. Everyone in the radius of Chris and Jamie was staring at them. Shut up, Chris. You're embarrassing me. Chris and Jamie were silent all the way back home, with a beeping sound being in the background. Do you want to talk about the mall or not? No, I don't know what was happening to me back there. Hours passed. They unpacked everything and almost had forgotten about everything that happened at the mall. Chris and Jamie watched multiple Christmas movies, Elf, and Die Hard. Chris looked outside the window and noticed that there was some sort of print on the window. He rushed towards it and closed the curtains with pure accuracy and speed. The curtains were closed in a matter of moments. 26 minutes passed. It was 11 p.m. and Chris and Jamie were in bed, almost asleep, when above them, Chris started and stared where he noticed noise was coming from. Sounded like it was coming from right below them. Chris stood up and started to walk to the stairs to find out what the hell made the loud noises. As he started to silently go down the stairs, he could hear some sort of coughing. He peeked to the side to look in the lounge where the noise came from. A figure was standing right in the middle as he saw black dust covered the floor from the chimney. Chris froze. He needed to go back to Jamie. Chris headed back upstairs when he heard heavy footsteps coming closer and closer. Chris finally made it to the bedroom. Jamie baby, don't panic at all, but there's someone in our house. We need to hide and call the cops. Okay, but I'm scared. Don't. We will be perfectly fine. We will hide together. You go in the closet first, and I will follow right behind you. Jamie comfortable, and now she started to calm down with every breath. She turned to face the closet door where Chris was standing. The most high-pitched and deathly scream ever produced yelled out his name, and Chris jumped and locked in place. He tried to twist as fast as he could, but he was face to face with the 6'2" man, eyes bloodshot, fully widened, heavy breathing, with anger raged inside of him. Mouth converted into a deadly angered movement. In his hand, a wooden bat that had red marks covered in the end. As Chris just noticed, he fell to the floor, creating a boom of sound of an earthquake. Black covered his eyes. Chris woke up seconds later, eyes bobbing up and down. A killer pain on the right side of his head. As he lifted it, he felt wetness. As he put his hand where it was moist, he looked at his covered, bloodied hand. Blood rushed down as he raised his hand, his fingernails invisible by the dark, dripping blood liquid. Chris felt sick rushing up his throat, adding to his fully covered dark red hand. The blood and sick made an extra thick substance that was unbearable to stare or even smell. As the rotting of the sick and blood rushed to cover the wooden boards, "Chris, help! Please, help!" As Chris stood up, a sudden blood rush came over him, making nearly fall back into the pool of thick blood and sick. Eventually, Chris got his vision back and rushed downstairs. Nearly falling down the steps, every second he was wondering what is happening to Jamie. He made it to the lounge where the chimney is, and horror as the dim lights from outside were trying to go through the curtains. "Help! Chris, fucking help! Turn a light on!" Chris rushed and turned the light on. He stood staring at Jamie getting lifted up the chimney. Half her body is up the chimney, tar falling with every lift the man did. Jamie, blood all over her face, eyes full of tears, and bruises covering her skin. Chris rushed to grab her hand and pull her down. As he was under the chimney, looking at Jamie's pure horrified face, tears were hitting Chris's face, rushing into his cut, burning, and pain rushed to his face. Chris looked past Jamie's horrid face. The Santa was fully black, and all the white fur from the Santa's coat was now a dark red. No part of the suit was at all white. "Chris, let go. Let go," She isn't yours. She never was, Chris. Chris kept on pulling and pulling. Meanwhile, Santa was pulling and pulling, and he had much more strength compared to Chris. Let go of me. My arm's going to get... And Chris felt that Jamie's arm seemed to get much weaker. Chris then looked up at Jamie's arm, and it was floppy and moved with no control. Jamie had her arm pulled from the socket. It was loose and had zero control. Then Chris began to become weak. There was nothing he could do. His arm gave up. He saw, he watched, he stared as Jamie's body was pulled at lightning speed and hitting each side of the walls of the chimney, making crushing sounds as the arm dangles. They reached the very top. It was silent. Chris just kept staring straight up. All he could see was the Santa and his glowing red eyes looking straight down, and waved with the biggest grin spread across his face. Chris, go outside and say goodbye, Chris. Chris rushed to the door, went into the freezing snow atmosphere, and went as far as he was able to see to the top of the roof, where he was able to see the outlines of Jamie and the horrific Santa. Jamie forced to couple hands with him. He said, "So, Chris, this is it. Your last time to be able to see my girl ever again. And never again. Will you make me not see these eyes never again? Will you stand in my way? I will be able to keep these eyes with me. The good girl is always with me." Chris saw the Santa reach into his pocket. A knife emerged from within his pocket. "These eyes will be mine, so will she. Do you hear me, Chris?" As the Santa finished that sentence, with full force, shoved the knife into Jamie's left eye. Blood spilled out, spitting in the shadows. Jamie just fell on the floor screaming, but the Santa just sang, "Stand up, let me carve your beautiful eyes." The Santa forced Jamie back up, holding her face up. But nothing happened. Once again, it fell silent. Chris, as I will say to everyone, have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and all a good night. By his final words, Chris stared, and they disappeared in a matter of moments. No fall, nothing. Gone into oblivion. Chris turned the music off and opened the box. To his pure shock, it was a blood-covered, pulsating eye. Staring right into his own, the inside of the box filled and splattered with thick, red, dark blood. The revolting eye moved side to side in the box, as if moved to banked. It was horrifying. Absolutely carnage. And then the radio flicked back on. Up next, the greatest pop song for Christmas. Christmas Through Your Eyes. Chris's eyes widen, just listening as the song played in his ears. Wind tickled his neck. Chris, thank you. She is such a good girl. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story.